Over the last few years, when we were asked to pledge to the church, whether it be for operating campaign or capital campaign, generally Marcia and I will talk about it initially, and then we go off on our separate ways and just think about an amount of money that we can contribute. And when it comes near to the time that we have to make our pledge, we'll get back together, and invariably, we will end up with the same number, not having even talked about it together. So I can tell you that when we decide to give a contribution to the church, it's something we both have thought about, and it's founded in our faith. I've been thinking about the pledge that we made for the Good Housekeeping campaign, for example, and when we gave our pledge, we had already committed to an increase in our pledge for the whole operating budget for 2012 from the previous campaign in November, where we had significantly increased our pledge. So when the capital campaign came around in April, we had one more decision to make. And again, we both thought about it separately and ended up deciding what number to give and just went forward in faith. Surprisingly, just a few weeks ago, I had the opportunity to be invited into my manager's office when I arrived at work one day, and invited me in for a visit. And I'm not afraid to admit to this intimate group that I was quite surprised by the change in salary structure I received at that point. Now, the increase in salary that I got was quite surprising to me, especially at my point in my career. And at that point, I realized the truth, that God really does provide. One of the things that happened once I had received this salary increase is it made me think more about the future in terms of what we might be pledging for another operating campaign. What I realized at that point in time was the confidence I can have in my own faith to step out even more the next time I'm asked to give. It's a transformational thing when something like that occurs when you least expect it. I believe that God has blessed us in many different ways. And I mentioned before, it's in our treasures, it's our time, and it's our talent. And we are blessed in a way that we should pass that on to others. We can benefit so many people by our blessings that God gives us. I'm reminded of a few Sundays ago when I heard in the prayer of confession that sometimes we were confessing that we are a dead-end blessing. And what that meant to me was we've received all these blessings from God and we haven't blessed anyone else with them. And Dave's sermon series right now about the Blessed Challenge is a strong reminder that we are in a position to bless others with all that we have been blessed with. And so our challenge every day is to not ever be a dead-end blessing. It never stops with the blessings you receive, and it never stops with just one blessing that you give.